So, ladies and gentlemen, no one else is really going to cover this, so I'm going to cover it because I do think this is important. Canada is a fallen state. They do not have religious freedom. We saw that under COVID, and we saw that today, where you had police storm a religious service because they didn't have the right permits. Where are your papers, please? Where are your papers that you can worship according to us? These people are absolutely disgusting, and I would tell them to go to hell, but they're already there in Canada. So the media that are all filled with these atheistic, self-worshipping, degenerate retards, they decided, well, we're going to ask you, where are your papers, please? Where is your papers that you can worship? It's unreal that this is even a story.
That is because you don't have the permit to have the concert.
I don't think you need a permit to worship in a church. Last time I checked, you don't need a permit to worship.
By the way, this chick is from Radio Canada, and she asked him, well, could it be that you did not have the permit to worship in church? What is this, fucking Nazi Germany? What are we doing here? You do not have the right papers. To worship in church, you don't need papers. You shouldn't need papers. If you're talking about permits to worship in church, you are a fallen state. And by the way, if you believe that's true, you're an enemy of the United States.
Canada, it's religious freedom. You know that?
Yeah.
Religious freedom. You don't need a permit to worship Radio Canada.
Well, you have to research your laws on that, but
it's incredible.
Worshiping in a church, I don't believe you need a permit for that. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. That is because you don't have.
I love that the guy is giving her shit for such a stupid and ridiculous question. Well, is it maybe you got shut down because you don't have your papers? You don't have your worship papers? Did you ask the government if it was okay for you to worship? I mean, unreal. It's simply unreal. And by the way, I'm going to do a video on this in its own right, but since it's here, Trump just announced a massive deal with the EU. A massive deal. And this person's right. Canada just got humiliated. Trump just got the entire European Union, I was going to say United Nations, European Union to agree to zero tariffs on U.S. goods, while the U.S. will still tax EU products at 15%. Europe bent the knee. Canada didn't even get a seat at the table. So there was this delusion, this mass delusion from these fucking Canadians, these retards, that Canada was going to bypass the United States and they were going to go to the EU and they were going to form some kind of transatlantic partnership and they were just going to cut out the United States. Oh, the hubris. Pride really is the deadliest of the 7 deadly sins. Well, not only did that not happen, but the United States has a killer deal with the EU now. And according to Trump, they're going to be opening their markets to us. So Trump got a massive win. Canada takes yet another L. And, business as usual, I guess. But I think this story is absolutely significant. And you see the media. MAGA-affiliated American musician faces wave of cancellations on Eastern Canadian tour. City reviews safety plans for West Kelowna concert by MAGA-linked artists. All 6 Canadian venues cancel Christian musician Sean Feucht's show. Canadian cities keep revoking MAGA seniors' performance permits. Yeah, these people in Canada are freaks. And honestly, I think that they should be declared an enemy of the United States. These people are the enemy of Western civilization. They're the enemy of Christianity. These people are absolute derelicts, and it is unbelievably pathetic that they continue to, to just shit the bed in every opportunity. Let's see. Elbows Up got Canada a 35% tariff as well as no trade deal, while other countries received lower tariffs and got trade deals done. Congratulations, Liberal voters. You got played again. Yeah, well, they were too retarded. They simply wanted to get Trump. And they thought by voting in Mark Carney and the Liberals that they were going to get Trump. Not realizing that you're not, you're a speck. You're nothing. You've never been anything, but your ego has been so out of control. I don't know if it's the French influence. Canada approves this guy, but Sean Fiat wants to sing at a Catholic church. Canada sends 11 cops. The targeted repression of Christians in Canada could not be more clear. Yeah, I think that Trump should name Canada America's enemy. I do. I think absolutely. Their censorship, their anti-Christian rhetoric, I mean, all of that stuff. I think it is absolutely clear. And by the way, the immigration stats. Holy shit. There's an invasion happening. There's an invasion happening in Canada. Unbelievable. And yeah, they're spending taxpayer money on quote-unquote asylum seekers. Yeah. Yeah, unreal. Canada's a fallen state. Oh boy. Oh. Oof. Canada's immigration charge is absolutely insane. Look at that. Boy, that's like one of Elon's rockets. But yeah, I wanted to talk about this because I do think this is significant. I do think this is important. So you need a permit to worship in church. But these terrorists that roam the streets, they don't get a permit. It says, but a mass mob does not need a permit to trespass on a church, set off smoke bombs, and call for the end of Western civilization. Yeah. Because the people in charge in Canada agree with that. They support that. And they despise Christianity. And the thing is, I want to make this perfectly clear. Jesus told us as much.
I only have a few things left to say, so please listen carefully. Remember when I sent you out 2 by 2?
How could we forget?
I told you to take no money bag or knapsack or sandals. And did you lack anything?
Nothing.
Nothing. But it was far easier then. You were serving your own people, and they wanted you there. They welcomed your message. Our ministry was growing, and there was little resistance. From now on, it will be different. You will be going into a hostile world. The nation has rejected me, and now they will reject you because you are not of the world. Because I chose you out of the world. The world now hates you. If you have a money bag, bring it. Likewise, a knapsack. And if you don't have a sword, sell your cloak and buy one.
Yeah. And people want to say Jesus is a socialist. He's telling people to buy a sword. Because Jesus understood that, yeah, the world would reject him. All of these degenerates, all of these self-worshipping far-left freaks, they're only interested in themselves and what they can take, their materialism. This has been the result of these policies enacted. And the fact that you would dare go to a church and demand a permit, get the fuck out of here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a shorter video, but I did want to highlight this. There are a lot of different things going on in the world as it relates to the faith. And I am not by any means going to shy away from any of them. I know that some people have said, dude, I like your content, but, you know, enough with the Christian stuff, enough with Jesus. If you like my content, but you think that I'm talking about Jesus too much, let me just say, I'm going to redouble my efforts. I'm going to still do the content that I want, but I'm also going to mention Jesus more, because if I've got a bunch of people telling me not to, that's pretty clear Satan is on the move, saying, I don't really like that you're mentioning Jesus. Well, I'm going to mention him twice as much. And fuck you if you have a problem with that. I don't need a permit to mention Jesus. The reality is that this Canadian project has failed in so many different ways. And, to end things, I kind of want to show you this. Yeah. Hey, beaches are not toilets. Yeah, immigration is so bad that they have to tell people to stop taking shits on the beach. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, diversity is not our strength. Diversity is a weakness in many cases, the way that the left defines it. And yeah, Christ is King. Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you next time.